Hey guys, Ken here from Reno Guns and Range, talking to you about this month's Tuesday tip. We're going to talk today about holsters for defensive handguns, which holsters we recommend, why we recommend them, and what you should look at when choosing a holster for your defensive handgun. First thing I want to do though, is I'm going to kind of walk up, is I've got some live guns here. Is I just want to make sure that we'll kind of look through that, and Jordan's behind the camera here, so nothing's up there. We good, Jordan?
We're clear.
Okay. Then we're going to move over to the next one here. I've already removed the magazines, folks, so
Clear.
We're clear. And we got...
And clear.
Awesome. So we have a lot of people coming in, and their original question is about guns, but usually right after that, the question arises of, how do I carry my gun if I want to carry my gun in public? Specifically, we get a lot of concealed carry requests. So the advice that we give people is actually by letting them know some standards to look at with some holsters. The first thing, and characteristic-wise, that we want to look at with a holster is that it holds the handgun securely and in place. The second thing we want to look on in that holster is that it covers not only the trigger, but the trigger guard. And what we mean by that is this piece around here is what we call the trigger guard. Not just the trigger, but the trigger guard. The reason behind that is by covering that, that aids in the prevention of an accidental or a negligent discharge, whichever way you want to phrase that. So we really want to make sure that those characteristics are there, along with the absence of any extra buttons or levers to get our gun out of our holster. So to kind of boil that down, we're looking for efficient access to our holster, so we want the least amount of time, effort, and energy to get our gun out of our holster, while also holding that handgun securely in place, and then the holster itself staying in position relative on our body whilst we're moving about. Now that's all kind of a handful, so I'm going to go through two of the main holsters that you see here at Reno Guns and Range. The first one that we'll talk about, and is kind of like the first super comfortable holster that I got into, and it's also part of and a sponsor of the Personal Defense Network Tour. As you guys may or may not know, we host a tour course here last year, the year before, this year, and about every month. So we're going to start off by talking about the crossbreed holster. What this is this is a hybrid holster. By hybrid, I mean it's got a Kydex shell on the outside, and then on the back, this is a leather, keeping it real comfortable up against the body. This is Crossbreed's appendix style. This gun specifically was, as we said, we already cleared, this was built for the Springfield XDS. So a nice small gun carried in the center line up front. What we mean by center line, if we're right-handed, somewhere between 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock. If you're left-handed, it would be the same on the other side, but that's what we're looking at. And if you'll kind of notice, and when I'm talking through, we'll talk about carry positions a touch today and carry modes, but specifically today's around just getting that holster. If we look at the holster, we're able to kind of turn it upside down, and as you can see, it's holding the gun there securely. We don't have to worry. So if we were running, we're not worried about the gun flying out. But if we needed access to it, we're able to come in and bring the gun straight up out of the holster. Super comfy, sits up and around here. That's the Crossbreed holster. The other holster, one of the other holsters that we carry here, this is the LAG Tactical Appendix holster. On a side note, pretty proud to be able to collaborate with these guys over there. They're local here to Reno, and we worked with them on this holster itself, putting it through its paces in the extreme close quarters, as well as other stuff. They're already working on another evolution to this holster, but it's designed to carry, and I've got a blue gun here, we can kind of see, it's designed to carry the XDM like that. You guys can kind of see this is, so my personal gun of choice is the Springfield XDM 3.8 compact 9mm. It's the holster that I carry right here. The key, as you can kind of see, is opening our hips if we're putting a gun centerline. Also, some side credit to Derek Poole from Echo 5 Training on a great hack for the back side of these holsters, right? I've got my shirt in the bottom here of the Velcro. You'll kind of see out there, that's what the shirt was in. By putting, this is just a Dr. Scholl's heel gel on the back there, that's giving us a little wedge that helps bring the gun back into our body that aids in concealment. I'm just going to kind of put that out there. So this is just this holster, guys, with the little wedge on the back. So we've kind of covered the centerline functions of holsters. We recommend here, in terms of where to carry and modes of carry, we definitely recommend on-body carry and the position somewhere between strong side and centerline. So that's what I'm showing you guys here too in the holsters. Crossbreed makes a holster, which I don't have out here with me, called their Super Tuck or King Tuck. Those allow for your shirts to be tucked in, and that's their strong side holster. The LAG tactical holster is their 2-in-1. It's their convertible. So the way that it's set up to start with is for an outside the waistband, but they also included in their package, they give you another set of hooks to go inside the waistband that slips through. This one's set up for this Glock 19, and it would be running at about this position right here. The nice thing with this holster, again, you can see it has the retention and able to hold the firearm in place, but allows access to when we need it. With having the two different variants, you're able to take this holster to the range that may not allow an inside the waistband carry and have an outside the waistband holster, and then be able to convert it right back into inside the waistband for concealed carry. So kind of a quick recap on what we're looking for in terms of a holster is the holster itself needs to hold the firearm securely. It needs to cover not only the trigger but the trigger guard as well in order to aid in the prevention of an accidental or negligent discharge. The holster also needs to stay in position relative to our body when we move about. So, and what I'm talking about that is we don't want something that bounces around. If you've noticed these holsters that I have, they also stay open. They don't collapse when we're presenting the firearm out or when we're putting the firearm back in. That's a huge deal too. That aids in allowing us not only on the training side, but if we're in kind of a really hectic or chaotic environment. We just had a great opportunity with Caleb Kazia here with his TACMED ADC class, where people realized real quick that if they had a collapsible holster, it was hard to get that gun back into the holster if they needed to do something else like reach down to get a med kit. And this is the Safer, Faster Responder emergency med kit that we kind of put down there. So you can see kind of why you may need to reholster. Obviously, there's no problem with looking the gun back into the holster. We recommend looking the gun back into the holster, especially in a defensive environment. The reason that you would be putting the gun back into the holster is that it's safe to do so. Now that we've kind of, these are what we would consider traditional. A lot of people will think, you know, the centerline carry isn't traditional, but over the last few years, I am personally seeing at least probably a 50-50 mix in the classes that I'm teaching in the combat focused shooting classes of centerline carry and strong side carry. The other thing we have out here, this is the ICE training belly band. It's sold through Crossbreed Holsters, and it's a collaboration with Rob Pincus and Crossbreed Holsters. And this is the Gen 2 version. The Gen 2 version is a modular version. In the holsters, you buy the belly band itself, and then you're able to get the modular piece, and it kind of sticks in here. This one's designed for the Smith & Wesson Shield, and it kind of goes through. I'm kind of a big guy, but we're going to show you how this would go about and how the Gen 2 goes. So the belly band is designed, obviously you can wear this if you don't have a belt. Or for a lot of ladies, they wear dresses, skirts. This is designed to be able to be worn underneath of all of that. And if you can kind of see that now, this wraps over the top and it keeps that handgun secure. I'm just going to kind of hold the shirt up here. I'm wearing an undershirt, so hopefully no one will have to see that show. I'm not a little guy, folks. So we can kind of see just on this shirt how quick that goes away, but if needed, we would be able to gain access to the handgun. So this is going to kind of come off here. Like I said, the cool thing with the modular side on the crossbreed holsters is they have modular systems that work with this for staging devices in your vehicle and in your home, if those are options available to you as well. So I'm just going to kind of clear these back out for everyone. And go through. They make holsters for purses, or they make purse carries, or what we call like alternate style of carry for the ankle or the purse, which is we consider off body. While those aren't recommended, we understand that that may be their only option due to their profession or a very low permissive environment. The holster requirements, though, stay the same. They still need to perform all those same functions, and just understand that when we're looking at putting them in those places, maybe because we have to, that we're just giving up, some efficiency and access due to concealability requirements. Hoping all this makes sense to you guys. If it's not making sense or you guys have questions, feel free to just put anything in the comments. We'll get back to you guys. You can always email range@renoguns.com. As I've said in here, we've got a lot of things that are representing the Personal Defense Network. The Personal Defense Network also is a great resource to be able to go in there and find articles or free videos as well that will explain a lot of this in a lot more depth. So if that's it, I'm going to look to Jordan for a second because he's behind there, right? He's giving me the yes, I can get off the camera now. So I appreciate everyone taking the time. For most of you that I've noticed that are watching this video may not be for you, but it may help the person to decide on getting a good holster. Thanks, guys. Take care.